Cruising from marina to marina, headland to headland, we never see the coves, bays and secret places in between. So I thought I'd spend this summer exploring Cornwall's rarely visited anchorages. The August bank holiday traffic is crawling across the Tamar Bridge into Cornwall. Just before reaching the bridge, on the Cornish side of the Tamar, is the wide estuary of the River Liner. At first, deep rolling Cornish farmland borders the wide sluggish river. Then the banks close in and the fields give way to woodland. On the charts it's shown as virtually all drying out. But on a bend in the river is one place that doesn't dry out, Dandy Hole, an all-tides anchorage, no more than a small pool. A perfect get-away-from-it-all secret spot. Looe is not a secret to thousands of holidaymakers. However, just offshore of the harbour is Looe Island. Just a few hundred yards away, but a world apart from the hectic holiday crowds of the town. Now a nature reserve run by Cornwall Wildlife Trust, it offers a comfortable and secure, though rarely used overnight anchorage in all but easterlies, and some lovely snorkeling in the shallows between the island and the mainland. Maybe my affection for Lantic Bay stems from catching my first ever mackerel there on a family holiday over 50 years ago. This is what boats are made for. A deep bay offering beaches where you can anchor, swim, barbecue and simply play for the day. Although literally just around the corner from Foy, it does seem to be a place only frequented by those in the know. This was one of the busiest days of the year, the August bank holiday weekend. Most other times I've anchored here, we've been the only boat in the bay. While nearby Foy teems with visitors, few ever overnight in Mevagissey. The harbour always seems busy with fishing boats. In fact, there are 9 allocated visitors' berths in the harbour, and not once this summer had all 9 been taken. Mevagissey is much more a fish and chips and ice cream type of place than more sophisticated Foy. But to be honest, I can relate to that. And Mevagissey is a fun port to overnight in. This is a town that came into existence due to the massive shoals of pilchards that used to arrive every year off Cornwall's coast. Those not actually fishing would be employed salting, smoking, pickling and pressing them into barrels to be shipped up country, or would be working as boat builders, net makers, sail makers and blacksmiths. A whole community dependent on one small fish. Port Lowe has been a long-time favourite place of mine. A secret place to bring friends to on a summer's evening, to share a bottle of wine or a meal. Just a few miles east of Falmouth, I've never come across another boat anchored here. Just the occasional small fishing boat heading into the tiny cove. It's hard to imagine that at one time up to 50 pilchard boats fished from here. Easier to imagine the village in its other guise, as a haunt of smugglers bringing tobacco and brandy into Cornwall. Head up the River Fowl to a place rarely visited by boats. It's far from being scenic Cornwall, but it's a unique way to visit Cornwall's only city. The buoyed channel meanders in wide loops between mud banks, and you can only get there on the rising tide. Ferries carrying tourists plough upriver with a confidence born of having followed the same course hundreds of times. If in doubt, tag on behind one of them. The Helford must be one of Britain's most beautiful rivers, with ancient woodlands along all its banks and creeks. But few venture inland to explore. On a sunny June Saturday afternoon, we were the only boat heading upriver. It's definitely a trip to do on a rising tide. The channel is at stages marked by little more than withies, and winds and cuts back on itself. If you run aground on the soft mud on a falling tide, you can guarantee spending several hours on that mud bank. I know, I've done it. Then the surprise. At the head of the river is the village of Gweek and the Gweek Quay boatyard. It's a real old school boatyard with a friendly atmosphere. Everyone seems to know everyone else. Every boat is unique, many old and being lovingly restored, others being newly built by true craftsmen. Rivers, anchorages, villages, tiny harbours, and the city. A diverse yet intriguing mosaic of secret Cornwall.